Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you with the news of the day. Flittered through everything, trying to find the one topic that I would like to make a video on for you tonight. And the one thing that really got up underneath me and I just didn't like it all was WWE is trying to put together the Hall of Fame class for WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans. They're trying to put together, a big class of guys that basically, every year trumps the one before. I think a lot of people looked at the WrestleMania 26 class and said that it was kind of a dud. And honestly, they've really picked up and made sure they had, a big name to put in there every year. Now, a lot of people are already putting the Ultimate Warrior on the ballot, like there was something that would be able to vote about. Everybody knows that it's basically up to Vince McMahon and a little bit of Triple H about who goes into this exclusive WrestleMania. It's not even the WrestleMania, WWE Hall of Fame, and gets there one night to stand up on the stage and, basically tell their story and say thank you to anybody they want to thank and, have that last goodbye to the fans at WrestleMania in front of the big crowd, get the big pop when they say your name. And, it's always been a very, very cool moment. Now, basically with the Ultimate Warrior commercial for WrestleMania, what's the name of that game? WWE 2K14. With him being in the commercial, basically Vince McMahon tweeting him on Twitter saying, welcome back to the family, and then Ultimate Warrior with his longer response, responding to it and sort of agreeing that it is the time for them to come together, even though, he took some jabs in there at the end of it. It was I'm going to forgive you because, the way I read it at least, was Warrior was saying, I'm going to forgive you and we're going to be able to move forward, but I'm not going to forget about the shit that he did to me in the past. And that's just the way that I read it. And, I've always just sort of looked at that WWE Championship list, and that's not the go-all, say-all, but, honestly, if you had the title until they just started, randomly trading it around like crazy and putting it on guys, I wasn't that big of a fan of the Bob Backlund title switch, even though he had it for just a minute or two, but, even guys like Psycho Sid, I think, should go into the WWE Hall of Fame. If you had that belt, I think that it should be like that guaranteed stamp of approval to put you in, sort of like how 300 wins or 3,000 strikeouts, 500 home runs, things like that in baseball used to be that automatic stamp that once, it was your time to get voted in, the writers were going to put you in. Now that we went through the steroid era, it's hard for them to put anybody in the Hall of Fame for Major League Baseball anymore. Now, I thought Warrior would easily be the name at the top of the list. And now last year some names bounced around and they made some stories and basically they weren't all true at the end of the day. I remember last year that, they were basically thinking about putting the Clique in all at one time with Kevin Nash and, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, X-Pac as, the group of guys that really got, wrestling through the dark ages. And even though, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash reached their, their peaks for WCW, it was them, muscling through that, it's not, I always sort of call it the Bret Hart era. And, when, Hogan left and Flair left and Bret Hart became the champion and, the wrestling, business took a nosedive. Wrestling took a nosedive all over. WCW, WWF, I call it the Bret Hart era, but no way do I put it on Bret Hart as the reason why it fell. The reason why it fell is because it lost all of its stars. Vince was not officially 100% invested in WWF at the time. He was trying to make sure he didn't go to jail, because of the whole steroids case and everything like that. So there was a lot of things going on at that time. But this year, I think they were even on that short list of names that came out last year, is they want to put DX in. DX to me, I think they're looking at putting the whole group in, Shawn Michaels and Triple H, of course, but they're going to put the whole band back together. I know she wasn't at the Raw 1000, reunion. Chyna's involved, the New Age Outlaws, X-Pac. Now, I'm not a big fan of this, honestly. I think it's really cool that Ric Flair is the first guy and the only guy to be in the the double inducted Hall of Fame list. It was very cool in Miami to see the Four Horsemen, put into the Hall of Fame. But honestly, those guys all should have been inducted separate. They all should have had their own separate moments. Barry Windham, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Arn Anderson, who I think is the backbone of the Horsemen. I've said this 1,000 times. Even though Ric Flair was the guy that held that belt, I think that Arn Anderson is the one guy that always, was the money part of the promo, and he was always, he would always lay down himself for the group. You might have a pay-per-view match with Flair on Sunday, and Arn Anderson might do the job when he wrestles you on Saturday, but he's going to kick the shit out of you, and he's going to make sure that when you show up to that pay-per-view match against Flair for the title on Sunday, you're not going to be 100%. He's going to take you out. Go watch those War Games matches. Arn Anderson makes those matches. Flair's the guy that everybody went to see, but I think Arn Anderson, to me, when I watch those Four Horsemen matches, he's the guy that I honestly remember. What a great worker, and as you can tell, he's still a WWE agent today, which tells you his mind for the wrestling business is huge. Now, Shawn Michaels, we'll just start with this. I'm just going to say one day DX should be in the Hall of Fame. Yes, there's going to come a point when they're going to come out of these top names. The last few years we saw Shawn Michaels get inducted the year after he left. We saw Edge a year after his retirement put in there. Edge is a guy that I don't think that they knew was going to go that fast. They just put Mick Foley in. Pretty soon they're going to come into a place when these top names from the Attitude Era are going to run out. So save these inductions till later. There's no reason why there's no reason why Triple H should go into the WWE Hall of Fame as DX before he goes in there as Triple H. Because we're going to see this moment of him, accepting his ring, more than likely wear it, and, him and Shawn Michaels can have that moment in the sun, being at on top of the stage. I know that was a cool moment. I loved it. When Michaels got put in and they had their moment on the stage, and then Kevin Nash and X-Pac came out there to close out the show. That was really, really, really cool. But there's no way in the world why the fans and Triple H shouldn't be, should be cheated out of that one, special moment of him being alone on the stage for 30 to 40 minutes, however long his speech is going to be, because Triple H is the guy that's going to close the show. He's, one of the best performers of his time. He was very lucky that when he was at his stride, he had guys to work with like The Rock and The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin. But, I honestly think that, if he was in a promotion without those guys, he still would have been the same wrestler that he would have been. He's awesomely great wrestler in the ring, has great promos, and can build an angle basically for anything. There's only a few matches in the world that I always say that Triple H was bad. If you go back and you watch old TV matches to Triple H, I swear to you, he had good matches with everybody. That first run, when you get the title for the first time, they like to go out there and they like to really embarrass guys. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense. If you're a first-time champion, they should be, promoting you as, one of the best guys, and you should be wrestling the best guys. But for some reason, they put you out there, and Triple H was going out there, and he wrestled guys like Taz, Taka Michinoku, Al Snow, week after week, as the champion, but facing these lower card guys. And he put on these great matches that made him look weak, but made these matches good. Because if these matches came on today, and say like John Cena wrestled Yoshitatsu on Monday Night Raw at 9 o'clock, you're going to fucking change the channel. Because there's no way in the world that fucking Yoshitatsu is going to beat John Cena. But because Triple H was the heel and, these faces were going out there, he let these guys have so much shine in the match that you honestly really believed that it was going to happen. Bret Hart did the same thing. Bret Hart, was an awesome champion. I remember a match with him and Virgil. I remember Bret Hart versus 1-2-3 Kid match, and they were on WWF Superstars. Best thing about that was, like, when Hogan was a champion, Flair was a champion, guys like that, they didn't wrestle on Superstars. They did promos, pre-tape promos. They did, like, the Brother Love show, or the freaking Brutus Beefcake, barbershop. They did stuff like that, but you didn't see them actually wrestle. And here you are seeing them wrestle in the actual main event, and they're unbelievable matches where I actually thought Virgil was going to become a freaking WWF champion. Great shit right there. But we can go round and round and debate if you think X-Pac is a Hall of Famer. I honestly think the New Age Outlaws are guys that should go in as a team. Billy Gunn himself, it's hard to say what would have been a Billy Gunn if he didn't have the attitude that he had throughout his career. He's just one guy that's basically not going to, talk shit about anybody, or not. He's not going to take shit from anybody. I apologize. And he's a 10-time former tag team champion, which I think was beat by Edge as being the guy who held the title the most times. He was a former Intercontinental champion, hardcore champion. I'm not sure if he held the European title or not, but he was just that one guy. He never got to hold, the WWF Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't even think he ever got to the point that he was in contention for him on TV. But if you can remember back to, 99, he won the fucking King of the Ring, which, is a great accomplishment to put on the bottom of your Wikipedia page. But if Big Show wouldn't have got some heat on himself at that time, I think everybody can remember back, if you were watching wrestling and reading the dirt sheets, the 99 King of the Ring was supposed to be fucking Big Show winning it, and something happened. I don't honestly really remember the story. If he sort of got the Jack Swagger hot head at the time, and they thought they had to push him back down the ladder and let him know who he really is at the end of the day, because he lost in the first round on the pay-per-view to Kane, is how they pretty much put him down, and then Kane lost to Billy Gunn, who went on to basically just win the King of the Ring, then go to the SummerSlam and have a big featured match against The Rock, get his ass kicked, and it was all over, said and done for. But if X-Pac and the Outlaws aren't going to be put in there, I mean, it's great for them, to have that moment, but at least let Shawn Michaels already got his moment. At least let Triple H have his moment in the sun alone. That way, you're not cheated out of something where, a guy didn't get his own, induction before he's actually put in there. China, who I think I really skipped over, China's a definite Hall of Famer in my book, and I'm glad that, these stories are all saying that WB and China have actually, sort of reached out and talked to each other and trying to get on the same page. Hopefully get her to the point of where she's got, Jake Roberts' disease right now, where I think they've wanted to put Jake the Snake in the Hall of Fame for a while, but they can't trust the guy with a live microphone. They don't know what condition he's going to be in if he gets there, and I don't think they really want to have a 24-hour babysitter, hired to watch this guy. I know that now Jake's, got the DDP on his team, and him and Scott Hall are, a well-grouped unit, and it looks like maybe even Lex Luger's going to be getting involved in this, and, maybe they can all have their moment in the sun, with, now that they're, getting better and they're starting to kick those demons and definitely starting to, work out and get into a different, peace of mind and a different, body shape for their life, it's going to be a good times. But, China's a definite Hall of Famer, and I think that she's another guy that they should wait to put DX for. They should wait to put DX in for, because I think that definitely she changed women's wrestling. She changed women's perspective. She's the first ever, sort of valet manager that you were looking out for, like they were going to kick your ass. And everybody can remember her picking up Marlena and just shaking her around, and her being one of the first guys that went out there and wrestled dudes, and guys actually laid down for and took the 3 count. That really shook up and changed wrestling. I don't know if that was the best thing in the long run, but her moment at WrestleMania 17 when she beat Ivory for the women's championship, I thought was a really crowning moment on her career, and she really deserves a Hall of Fame spot. So we're coming up on 15 minutes. So I'm going to kick it. I hope everybody has fun. And we'll continue this with the next rumor that comes out about WWE Hall of Fame. Peace out.